What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's Rahul, and today we're going to be going over Togekiss VMAX in the post-rotation format. If you guys are enjoying the content, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notifications, and like and comment below to help me beat that algorithm. The support's been awesome so far. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with Evolving Skies. 2 weeks of straight content after Evolving Skies release date. That means that's right, August 27th to whenever 2 weeks from that is. Will be just every single day will be a video, maybe a new deck profile, maybe some gameplay. I don't exactly know. Maybe a set review, maybe something. I don't know. That's it. That's all you guys get. Let's jump into the deck profile before I say something else stupid. Togekiss VMAX. Now, if you guys were watching Chill TCG on Wednesday night and were there to support me during my casting debut, or not debut, I guess, but like kind of one of my first times stepping into the casting booth for Top Cut there, I had a lot of fun. It was really, really exciting. Constructive criticism is welcome in the comments below. I really do appreciate everyone here. The finals was a really, really close series between Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX and Togekiss VMAX. Now, the difference here is Togekiss VMAX was in our current standard format as opposed to, you know, what it could have been in post-rotation. So I figured, why is Togekiss bad in the post-rotation format? Togekiss VMAX has max glide attack, which for 2 colors is 120, and you search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them in your hand. Now, while 120 damage isn't necessarily the most, getting 2 cards and putting them into your hand is pretty good. It makes your opponents have a lot of pressure, and I realized in the post-rotation format, Reset Stamp is a card that will no longer be in the format. So that's 1 less card to disrupt your hand. Trevenant Dusknoir GX, 1 less card that's also going to be gone that disrupts your hand. The only real form of hand disruption that's going to exist in the post-rotation format is this girl here, Marnie. And now Marnie is maybe a 3, maybe a 4 of in almost every deck, so that is something that will happen. It is a card that you will see very frequently, but you can't stop every max glide from happening. Now, Togekiss VMAX also has very glaring lightning type weakness, but that lightning type weakness will not take too much of an effect in the post-rotation format because Pikachu and Zekrom GX tag team is leaving the format, which has been the primary lightning type attacker, the primary lightning type threat to a lot of these decks that are weak to lightning. Now, with that card leaving, sure, Jolteon VMAX is coming out in Evolving Skies, and this list is not Evolving Skies ready, but it's still very strong. Now, with 30 resistance to fighting as well, your Urshifu matchup should also be very strong because you can kind of mitigate that damage that's coming in from those Gale Thrusts and the G-Max Rapid Flow. Now, the Togekiss V is also very strong because you have White Wind. For colors, you do 20 plus 70 if your opponent active as an evolution Pokemon. That's a lot of damage for 1 energy. With 3, you also do Speed Wing for 130. So if you can get that 3 energy up and running, you're getting that 10 extra damage, which could offset the math as well. Very important to note. Now, the support engine of the deck will be a 4-4-3 Inteleon line. We already know what Drizzile does. Drizzile has Shady Dealings, very strong to just get the board set up and get what you need. Inteleon has Quick Shooting, which is once per turn you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Very strong. Helps out now that we're only doing 120 damage, right? So this Quick Shooting comes in and gets the ball rolling with the damage counters. We can play those 6 prize turns. We can play all these weird turns. Let's look at the rest of the deck. 1 Energy Spinner. Just a Drizzleable energy card is how I put things. We have 4 copies of Evolution Incense with Togekiss VMAX, Inteleon, and Drizzile being some of our most important targets to get. We do want to have Evolution Incense. 4 copies of Level Ball, which means that Sobbles are very easily accessible, as well as Drizziles, which is also our draw engine. I think any deck that plays the Inteleon engine should be playing 4 copies of Evolution Incense and 4 copies of Level Ball. And I think every deck in the standard format should be playing 4 copies of Quick Ball because it is our initial best setup card. It gets you every single basic in the deck, and that's pretty much all you need to kind of play the game under any circumstances. There's 1 copy of Scoop Up Net, which is something I'm experimenting with right now just because I'm not entirely sold on it yet, but it is a Drizzileable card that picks up the Drizzile or the Inteleon or something, forcing your opponent to potentially play a 3 into a 3 prize game, something like that, or just take away a 3rd Inteleon or something if a Sobble gets knocked out somewhere in there, forcing your opponent to have to actually go through 2 VMAXs instead of just taking out 1 VMAX and 3 of the Inteleon line across the board. Just an interesting card to kind of be able to get and make the game a little bit weirder. Also allows you to get another Drizzile play, maybe double Quick Shooting in the same turn when you only have 1 Inteleon left, etc, etc. There's 1 copy of Tool Scrapper because in the post-rotation format, cards like Cape of Toughness and Telescopic Sight are going to become very strong as we move forward. So having cards like Tool Scrapper to answer these is going to be very important. Now, this list plays 4 Path to the Peak because I think Path to the Peak is going to be very crucial to slowing down your opponents. We're only doing 120 damage. And well, this deck is going to have weaknesses against some of the top decks. For example, I think that Shadow Calyrex is going to be a terrible matchup because they can accelerate energy every turn, and while you're only doing 120 damage, they're going to be able to do infinite damage eventually. And at that point, well, our Togekiss VMAXs are not going to survive very long in the world. Now, 4 Path to the Peak seems excessive sometimes. Yes, there might be a better stadium that I'm not thinking of. Or for the time being, Path to the Peak is a placeholder stadium that for the time being should stop people from doing what they want to do enough. There's 3 copies of Boss's Orders. We do have the Drizzile to get it, but we probably will need to use 1 to 2 bosses to just clean out a game. So having 3 just ensures that. 1 copy of Cheryl, heal all damage from your evolution Pokemon. If you do, discard energy from the Pokemon that were healed that way. The list we saw that got second had Tapu Koko Prism to accelerate that energy back in case Cheryl discarded energy. But, big caveat, we do have a way to get those energy back. It won't happen in the same turn, but Cheryl's still very strong. Marnie does exist as well. We play 2 copies. We want to keep building our hand, and we don't really want to disrupt our opponent, but we can't just not play Disruption. It's the only disruption of the format, so we need to have our own answer to our opponents building their hand, but we're going to be wanting to build our hand entirely too. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Melony, which is attach a water energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon V if you do draw 3 cards. Now, Melony plus water energy is my answer to just getting a Max Glide set up as quickly as possible. It's my answer to getting a Max Glide out of nowhere, Speed Wing even, to get that damage on the board. So it should be good. With 1 spinner, you should be able to find that energy when you need it. And yeah, it's just a niche kit. You could probably even go down on Melonies, maybe go to a 4th water. Not entirely sure what the count here should be, but I like it. We have 4 copies of Professor Research, very staple. Just draw cards, build our hands, get the board going. Also really good at getting these water energies into the discard. 2 copies of Air Balloon. Now this is not necessarily for the Togekiss because it says for your treat. The baby has 1, which is not a big deal, but the Inteleon line could get stuck at any point, and we don't want to burn our energy attachment for the turn there when we don't have any way to get an energy that is like 2 energy cost, for example. Like we don't have a twin energy, a double colorless energy, nothing like that exists in this current format, so we do want to have a way to retreat without burning our own resources. We have 2 copies of Capture Energy because Capture Energy is going to be really crucial. As long as this card's attached to a Pokemon fights colorless energy, you can get a basic Pokemon and put it on your bench. Now, Capture Energy is a card that I think is super underrated going into the upcoming format. On the first turn, you usually just want to get Togekiss, or like Togekiss Sobble. So like having Capture Energy as one of your outs just makes it super easy to just get that early setup going. Now when you get that Sobble, that Togekiss, whatever onto the board on turn 1, all of a sudden your turn 2 now becomes Drizzile into the Togekiss VMAX, into now you getting 1 card into 2 cards every single turn with this Max Glide attack. And so once the early setup phase is kind of avoided, this deck should be able to get whatever it wants every single turn without fail. Now, this card is the reason that I brought this deck back. This card is the reason that I really think the deck is shining. Powerful energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it fights colorless energy. The colorless Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active. That adds up when you're doing 140 with Togekiss VMAX. Now, if you have 2 powerful energy, that's 160, which is now 2-shotting any of the VMAXs in the game. In addition, with quick shooting, you're doing a lot of damage. Powerful energy paired with the water energy, like it's a very strong combination to get these energies in the ball rolling. I think Togekiss VMAX is going to be a tier 2 deck at best, but it's a very interesting deck. So if you guys want to try something new, something novel, something that the format doesn't really expect or call for, Togekiss VMAX should be a deck that you guys should consider. And if you guys are enjoying the content, obviously, and are ready for the 2 weeks of Evolving Skies, tell a friend, tell your grandmother, tell someone about it. It's going to be a really good 2 weeks. I'll be live streaming on twitch.tv/theflea, but if I'm not streaming on Twitch, you can always get your content, your fill of content here on YouTube as well as TikTok. So check those out as well. Hit that subscribe button again, hit that bell, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Happy Friday, and I hope you guys have a fantastic champion time.